The crawler in the walls. Maggie had never been afraid of old houses. She was a home restoration specialist after all. Peeling wallpaper, creaky floorboards, even the occasional bat didn't bother her. So when she took the job of renovating the abandoned Hargrave House, she didn't expect anything unusual. The house sat on the outskirts of town, its massive Victorian frame looming against the gray November sky. It had been empty for nearly 70 years, ever since the Hargrave family mysteriously vanished in 1952. No one had dared live there since. But Maggie wasn't one for ghost stories. She had a job to do, and it paid well. Day 1. She stepped inside, the air thick with dust and something else, something stale. The house smelled like earth, like a place that had been buried. Ignoring the unease creeping up her spine, she set to work. The first thing she noticed was the silence. Not the peaceful kind, but an unnatural, pressing silence, as if the house itself were listening. As she peeled back a section of old wallpaper in the upstairs hallway, she uncovered something odd, a series of deep, jagged scratches in the wood beneath. They ran the entire length of the corridor, like something had clawed its way through. Probably rats, she thought. Big ones. That night, she stayed in a small motel outside town. She dreamed of scratching noises, of something moving inside the walls. Day 2. Maggie returned early, armed with coffee and determination. She focused on the living room, pulling down rotted curtains and prying up old floorboards. That was when she found the first hole in the wall. It was small, no bigger than a fist, but it led into the darkness between the walls. A foul smell wafted out, something damp, something rotting. She shined her flashlight inside and saw nothing but a tangle of wooden beams. But as she turned away, she thought she heard something. A soft shuffling, like something moving just out of sight. Maggie reminded herself that houses settled. They made noises. It was nothing. That night, she slept fitfully, the sound of scratching following her into her dreams. Day 3. She arrived determined to finish the hallway. As she worked, she found more of those scratches, deeper this time, as if something had been desperate to get out. Then she found the crawl space. It was behind a panel in the hallway, hidden beneath layers of old wallpaper. It was larger than she expected, an entire tunnel system within the walls. The smell was worse here. Something decayed, something long dead. She knew she shouldn't, but curiosity won. She crawled inside, flashlight gripped tightly. The space was tight, just large enough for someone, or something, to move through. As she shined her light ahead, she saw something that made her stomach drop. A pile of bones, small ones, dozens of them. Rats? Number 2 large. They looked human. Then she heard it, a scraping noise. Slow, deliberate, coming from behind her. She turned her flashlight toward the sound, and her breath caught in her throat. Something was there. It was impossibly thin, its skin stretched tight over elongated bones. Its eyes were black pits, reflecting the light like a predator. Its mouth, too wide, too full of teeth, curved into a grin. And it crawled toward her, joints bending the wrong way, its fingers dragging along the wood, nails clicking. Maggie scrambled backward, slamming her head against the beams. She twisted, lunging out of the crawl space just as it lunged too. Something cold and sharp scraped against her ankle as she tumbled onto the hallway floor. She kicked the panel shut, heart pounding. The scratching resumed immediately, more frantic now, more hungry. She didn't stay to find out what would happen next. Maggie fled, running from the house and never looking back. Epilogue. A week later, the house was condemned. No one else ever went inside. But sometimes, on cold, quiet nights, people say you can hear it. The scratching. The thing in the walls, still trying to get out. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you want another.